now.
It's the mosaic.
So before gloves start popping,
diving, he makes the catch,
and bats start cracking,
it is gone.
We bring you the voice of Bay Area baseball for the past 29 years.
As I always say, baseball reflects what life is all about.
This is Talkin' Baseball with Marty Laurie.
That's what we do. We talk ball.
On KNBR, the sports leader.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talkin' Baseball on this Sunday morning. A quick turnaround from last night as we get ready for September 1st baseball. No Labor Day game tomorrow. Raph and I always make our statement about Labor Day and how important it is for the labor force in this country that things don't happen without them. And thank goodness for the labor unions and the things they get done. So we celebrate that tomorrow, but no baseball tomorrow. The series between the Giants and the Marlins will end today. The Giants have Monday off. And then the Arizona Diamondbacks come in on Tuesday. And the Diamondbacks and Dodgers are having maybe the craziest series I've seen in a long time. Certainly down in Arizona. They had 50,000 last night at Chase Field in Arizona last night. And the Dodgers won it 8-6. And that's just part of the story of what happened last night. But Arizona comes in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The Giants fighting for their lives, and they're fighting for their lives because they just can't win these tight games. And they lose another one last night, 4-3 to the Miami Marlins, a team with getting close to 90 losses and a lot of young players playing. But the Giants, once again, just can't get that big hit to put them over the hump. And that's the story of 2024, really has been the problem getting runs across the plate. They just can't do it. They strike out too much, and the offense just isn't there as they kind of get into September now with only 26 games to go, 25 games to go for the Giants. And you wonder if they're hitting the wall even more as an offensive team. Matt Chapman, once again, is the one guy who seems to grind out those at-bats and looks like he's dangerous at the plate. Michael Conforto had a couple of hits last night. I'm still surprised that he's still a Giant. I really am. I thought that he could help a contender down the stretch. Giants could save some money and get a couple of outfielders up here who they have to take a look at for next year. One would be Luis Matos, and the other is Wade Meckler, the Mecklemator. Is doing well at Sacramento. I thought he would be coming up. But today is September 1st, and the Giants do get to pick up a couple of players today. So we'll see what they do. Maybe it'll be a pitcher. Mason Black, by the way, pitched great yesterday. I thought he really did. I thought he had the best stuff I've ever seen him have, even better than he threw in spring training. And I look at the line for him. The Giants do lose the game 4-3, and we can get into it a little bit. But for Mason Black being the spot starter, and that's why I say maybe they'll bring up another pitcher today to help this rotation because let's face it, with Birdsong, Harrison, and Snell and Logan Webb, and then that open spot with Robbie Ray's injury, they probably need some additional pitching. So we'll see where they go with that. But for Mason Black, the kid from Scranton, Pennsylvania, 5 innings, 4 hits, a couple of runs. He did give up a home run is it Channing Conine, the kid of Jeff Conine, Mr. Marlin, hit one off the foul pole, and he crushed it. I mean, he just crushed it. It looked like it was going into the bay and then hit the foul pole. That put the Marlins up 2-0. That was the only blemish on the record, really, of Mason Black last night. 5 innings, 4 hits, a couple of runs, the 1 homer, no walks, and 6 strikeouts, and they were 6 legitimate strikeouts. And he had good control, good command. The ball had some life, and I thought that was very, very promising for him. We saw it a little bit in spring training, not great, and certainly not during the season, but last night, Mason Black looked like the kid that they thought they were getting after he had the good year last year. And he did really well at Richmond, and I think he'd come up to Sacramento at some point. The Giants struggled against Edward Cabrera. Now, he's a guy who throws the ball all over the place. He got enough command of it last night to take him into the 6th inning. Only gave up 6 hits, a couple of runs. One was earned. His third baseman made an errant throw to first base and led to a run off of Cabrera. But they got him out of there in the sixth inning, and Curry came in and saved that sixth inning. And then the bullpen of the Marlins was really good last night, 3 2/3 for them. A hit given up, the home run to Conforto, and that was it. And the Giants' pen went 4 innings last night, 3 hits, a couple of runs. One was a home run given up by Tyler Rogers. And I know I listened to Bill a little bit last night on the postgame show, and he speculated that because Rogers was put, this is the lefty Rogers, was put on waivers, that maybe his concentration isn't there. Doesn't look like he's throwing the ball as well. Well, for whatever reason, he's not throwing it as well. And he did give up the home run to Norby last night to left field, and that was the third run for the Marlins last night. But the fourth run was the one that we'll talk about this morning, and it caused a lot of controversy last night. Excellent analysis by Dave, by Bill last night, and certainly by everyone on the TV side as well, and the radio side. But what happened was Otto Lopez, and this cost the Giants the game last night because they end up losing 4-3. Now, they cost themselves the game. They don't get anybody on base to lead off an inning. They go 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So you give up 4 runs, you can win a game. But when you only score 3 and you struggle to do that, you're not going to win many, and that's really the story. But the fourth run for the Marlins is the story that we'll talk about today. Lopez, remember him, Otto Lopez? He's a former Giant. They had him earlier. We saw him in spring training. Nice kid. He's a kid who can speak French, and he played in Toronto, and he's from the Dominican Republic. He leads it off with a walk, and then he tries to steal second, and Bailey makes a good throw. Bailey has had a heck of a time throwing to second base. He does that Thurman Munson sidearm stuff, and it's all over the place. Well, this one, he got rid of the ball quickly, which he always does. He's the fastest ever. But the throws are all over the place. But this one was right on the bag. And Fitzgerald came out to catch it and to set up. His left foot was in front of the bag. Now, in front of the whole bag, no. The bag is gigantic. It's a pizza box, as Will likes to say. And it was just by the side of it. And he catches the ball. And then he makes a tag on Lopez, who's got to clear. The bag is so big, he's got a clear path to the bag. And the umpire calls obstruction because he had his foot in front of the bag, the side of the bag, really, to set up to take the throw. And in the literal interpretation of the rule, that could be called obstruction. In the common sense world that we hope we live in, it was not anything near obstruction. And that's where they've got to change this interpretation to common sense. They did it for the play at the plate, that if a catcher sets up in front of the plate but the runner is at third base, you're not going to call him out for setting up in front of the plate if it didn't matter. And this is one of those that didn't matter. The guy had a clear path to the bag. So they call obstruction, and Lopez is on second. Conine then does his job, a good fundamental player, rolls it over to second, gets him to third. And Hensley, who got the hit off Snell on Friday night, fights and hits a little dribbler off the mound against Bivens. And Chapman, who makes every play in the book. Kid's terrific, must be signed, I will say that again. Throws him out, but the run scores, and that's the fourth run. And that was it. Giants got the home run from Conforto in the eighth inning to make it 4-3. But the closer for the Marlins came in, Fauché, last night, and gets Bailey on a first pitch pop-up to center, strikes out Encarnacion, and then Lamont Wade comes up, and I just can't tell you what I don't know what's wrong with him. I've never seen him hit like this, and he chases one outside, and he strikes out, and that is the end of the game. Last night, the Giants lose it 4-3. So Cabrera the win, Mason Black a tough loss for him. He pitched well. 36,087 last night. Russ Stanley is happy with that. And we get Game 3 today as the Giants try to win a series and keep their hopes alive, whatever they may be, in this wild card race as they lose some ground to a couple of teams ahead of them. But the team they are chasing Atlanta has 62 losses now. Atlanta, Zach Wheeler pitched a great game against Atlanta last night. They win 3-0. Michael Harris, you'll hear about this, the catch he made in the game. If you're on YouTube or Google, wherever you go, Google the Michael Harris catch from last night. Over the wall, one of the best catches I've ever seen to rob a home run last night in that game for Atlanta. But the Giants now have 69 losses. Atlanta has 62. So with the tiebreaker, that's 8 back with 25 to go. And I said, let's see where they are at the end of the Arizona series, and then we'll figure it out, because 1 today would be the 24 to go, 3 with Arizona be 21 to go, and if you're still 8 or 9 out with 21 to go, you're really cooked. But if you could get it down into something that's more manageable over the next 4 games, we'll see what can happen. The Braves do get the Phillies again today, and Schwellenbach, who's been really pitching well for the Braves, goes today. And for the Phillies, it's Aaron Nola. But the Braves have hit Aaron Nola. Olsen hits him well. Kelnick hits him well. Ozuna's hit him well. So we'll see if the Braves can hit Nola today and see what they can do with that. Then again, the Phillies are fighting for that position. They're knocking the Braves out of the division, really, but they're still fighting for that first place division in the standings to see who gets the bye. So big game for Nola against the Braves today, and the Braves hit him pretty good. So we'll see where that goes today. Miami now and the Giants. The Giants are 3-2 with the Marlins against the National League East. This is it. This will be the last game. 16-17. I guess it's not the end of the world, although they do get 12 with the Marlins and Washington. Washington gave them trouble, and certainly the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies. So 16-16 with the East. It's not the end of the world. They held their own with the East. At home now, the Giants are 39-29. They've got 13 more to go. You'd like to get into the high 40s at home, at least to show that you can win in your ballpark. They did have a winning August, 14-13, even with the loss yesterday. So it is September 1st. It is Labor Day tomorrow, and that's one of those markers. Teams that are in the playoff hunt on Labor Day usually are the ones that get there. But I'll talk to Bruce about it today when we talk to him. Maybe one of the surprises. Let's see what happens. Atlanta has a 2-game lead over the Mets, 4-game lead over the Cubs, and the Cardinals are 6 back, and the Giants, as I say, are 6.5 back. There's always a surprise. Who knows? Arizona, San Diego fighting for that wild card spot, the 4th or 5th spot. The Dodgers are kind of putting them away right now in the division. Atlanta's got a short lead over these wild card teams. So something's going to happen. It always does in September. September baseball is pretty good, and I always say the pros take over in September. So for the Giants, Chapman is the one guy who's getting it done. But as Dave said yesterday, and he's right, it's not the kids. You can't blame it on Fitzgerald. You can't blame it on Ramos. You can't blame it on Bailey or Wisely, who actually got a nice hit last night, a nice double. But it's the guys who get the paychecks, and I've used that phrase all summer long. Those are the ones who've got to pick it up. That's what's got to happen. And whether it's Yastrzemski, who, I made him my player of the week, a couple home runs and a few walks, but, he's leading off and getting something done. But it's the veterans that have to get it done, and that's the story of the Giants offensively. Well, today they turn to Logan Webb, their ace, and he goes against the Marlins here. Has not faced the Marlins this year, but if you look at him in August, the team was 4-1 on Webb starts, 33 innings, 21 hits in the 5 games, only 8 runs, 2 homers. How about that? Fabulous for Webb. 8 walks and 29 strikeouts. He's been in 28 games, 177 innings, and we're just heading into September. So give him his 4 or 5 starts in September, and he's going to be well over 200 innings again for the tough guy, Logan Webb. Won't be in Cy Young contention this year, but he takes the ball and he will give you 6-7 innings just about every time out. And you'll love guys like that. And he has had a good season for the Giants.